Food prices in the Philippines. I will tell you that some of the prices, the places I normally shop, some of the increases in the prices have shocked me a little bit to the point where I am changing my buying habits. I am either making more food at home or one thing I'm doing, I'm going to the local markets much more often than to the grocery store, even though the grocery store is very convenient. I've been in a couple of stores here in the last week or two, and a lot of the price labels were not on the shelves. And I asked the guys that were stocking shelves and said, why aren't the prices on the shelves like they used to be? Well, sir, prices are going up on a lot of items. And I said, if there's not a price on there, I'm not gonna buy it. I'm not gonna ask somebody every time I need to know the price of something. Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. But anyway, that is an issue. Prices are rising on many items. One example I can tell you, it happened many months ago. A place I shop, can of chili like Denison's chili with beans. I think it used to be 100 and just over 100 pesos, 130, something like that. 266 pesos, about $4 and over $4.50, closer to $5, I think. And it really depends on where you shop because I've been able to find many items much cheaper at S&R, which is like a Costco. Many of you are familiar with Costco. I can go to an S&R and buy that kind of thing and many other things much less expensive. I can also make a lot of my own food, including chili and other things, and much more healthy than what you buy out of the can, of course. Now, yeah, I do shop a lot more at the public markets, Carbon Market downtown, huge market downtown Cebu City, and even a lot of the local markets. I've got a local market real close to me that I go to. Sometimes just very convenient to go over there. Well, they will buy some of their stuff from Carbon Market. Of course, they have to make a profit, so they mark it up a little bit. But the convenience factor comes into play definitely. Food costs are going to be one of your major expenses, regardless of where you live, probably. Even if you're a rice and fish sort of guy, I mean, you can get a lot of that stuff relatively inexpensive here. I'm going to go over a list, found a place, an article, in fact, and some data on local prices here in Cebu City. Of course, they will vary based on the region, the shipping costs, or if they're grown locally, if it's imported goods. A lot of factors that come into effect. But once you're here for a while and you understand what your local prices are, you kind of understand what's going up, what's going down, and you can adjust your buying habits accordingly. Buy more local, buy in your markets. Anyway, let's get into this article and I'll go over some of the changes that have been taking place. Some of that is seasonal. Some produce, for instance, is seasonal. There can be other issues that affect the price of meat. In fact, pork, the what is it, African swine fever that's in some provinces, that's affecting the price and availability of some pork, some chicken issues in some parts of the world affecting chicken prices, of course. Before I get into some of the details on various items pricing, I'll give you another example. Uh, Gosh, maybe 2 years ago, Pringles potato chips, they come in that round tube. They were about pretty much every place, about 72 pesos per tube of those Pringles potato chips. About a year ago or so, they went up to 82. In the last several months, I saw the price was 100 and I think 126. So it went from 72 to 82 to 126. A particular store that I frequent often marked them up. They had a couple pallets of them, I think, right at the checkout stand. And I've noticed here in the last month that they've taken the price off. They've taken the price off because nobody was, maybe once a week, twice a week, I would go to that store, and I've noticed there didn't seem to be the stack of chips didn't seem to be declining. And so I've noticed here the last couple of weeks that the prices are no longer on the items. So people grab it, throw it in their cart, and they don't know until they get home that, my God, I paid 126 or 129 pesos for that. I understand because I worked in a grocery store during high school years in my little town, and during the, I think, 1969, I think, the high inflation in the USA, we were getting price changes on the same items every day. We were marking stuff up every day, 2 cents, 3 cents, 4 cents, or more every day. Price tag over price tag, or using alcohol to wash off the inked price tags and replace them with higher prices. And then I think it was Nixon tried his price freeze kind of thing. Didn't think that worked out real well, but that went into effect for a while. Anyway, the point of all this is, food is going to be a major part of your budget here, whether you're a foreigner or Filipino, and you best have control on that and be able to figure all that stuff out. Change your buying habits if you have to. Portion sizes, different items, substitute different items. Anyway, let's get into the details of this article, and we'll get into the specific pricing on some of these items as well. I've had several people ask me to do a video about food prices, cost of living food prices in particular. So anyway, I found this article today, June 18th, 2023, and kind of interesting. Precio Mercado, current prices of food in Metro Cebu markets, Cebu City, and they can vary by market. They can vary by where each of these vendors gets their products. For instance, one might buy from up in the mountains of Cebu, and another one might ship it in from Mindoro Island or Mindanao Island. Various areas kind of specialize in different types of fruits, and that can change over time. What's available this year or this season might not be available later, so they have to get it in a different area. And I've noticed going to Carbon Market, the huge wholesale retail market here in Cebu City. A lot of the smaller markets buy their goods there, some of their goods. And I've noticed even just walking, one vendor's price can be much different. You walk down the various streets and you'll find different prices for the same item. So let's get into this. Precio Mercado is a daily guide of prices of goods in different markets around Metro Cebu. Stay updated, and you can check their site if you want to keep up to date on that type of thing. Here are the prevailing prices of food and other commodities at the Ramos Public Market on Sunday, June 18th, 2023, and that is the closest market to me. And I occasionally go there. Sometimes I give my sometimes I go down to the Carbon Market, and generally I can get reasonably cheaper prices there, but of course cost the taxi. And market vendors say prices of shrimp increased by 30 pesos per kilo, or 380 per kilo as compared to June 17th's prices of the market of 350. According to vendors, prices of some products remain unchanged from Saturday's rates except for whole chicken, which dropped from 275 to 250, shrimps, which increased from 350 to 380, eggplant from 70 to 80 per kilo, sabing tundan, I don't know what that is, from 50 to 60 per kilo. Meanwhile, the price of mango dropped from 170 to 160 per kilo, according to market vendors. And there's a list. I'll show you a list of a lot of the prices here in a bit. According to the market vendors, the prices will depend on where they bought their products. So sometimes it will go up, sometimes it will go down. That's exactly what I said earlier. They said that they would usually buy their products from Carbone Market, but I know some get direct prices out of the mountains around here. They may have relatives. They may have relatives farming in the mountains, or family clans, tribes that they are associated with, and they may get those directly as well. So the rice of price, the various rices of price, pork, meat, and poultry, and I'm not sure what all this stuff is. They don't have prices for a few. Large eggs per dozen, 96 per dozen. Now, not so long ago, they were, at least a couple of years ago, I think around 72, I think. Now, I buy a high quality egg in the supermarket from a company called God's Grace, actually. They've got a farm over in Bareilles in Cebu, the west side of Cebu, and I have found their eggs to be I think they're the healthiest. They don't break very easy. They're nice orange, yellow, like yellowish color. So I pay about, I think, 155 per dozen, I believe. Fish, milkfish, Bangus, very popular here. 200 per kilo. Local round scad, and I don't shrimps, 350. I don't personally like shrimps, but vegetables, eggplant, uh, 70 carrots, 100 per kilo. And there's 2.2 pounds in a kilo if you want to do the math. Potatoes, 100 per kilo. Sayote, I eat a fair amount of sayote. It's kind of a less starchy type of potato, actually. A little bit healthier, I think. Peche green, I think it's a green salad type. Uh, Gabby, kind of like a potato type, kind of a root vegetable, I think. Squash per cut. Now, I just bought a very expensive butternut squash. And first time I bought one of those, we'll see what it tastes like. String beans, 100. Sponge gourd. Fruits, calamansi, 100. And mangoes, 130. Garlic, we eat a fair amount of garlic here, 130 per kilo. A lot of garlic comes in from Taiwan or China, but there is locally produced garlic as well. Generally, it is a smaller bulb. Ginger, I don't know where some of the bell pepper, 160 per kilo. I don't know, refined brown, sugar, azúcar. Palm oil, liter 90. That is, palm oil generally is more healthy than what many call vegetable oils, so it is a choice. Real briefly, now I want to touch on some of the factors that affect costs. Shipping costs, of course, are one, inventory costs, but shipping costs during the pandemic, there was trouble with logistics and ships getting backed up and not being able to get loaded, unloaded in reasonable times, and so there was the shipping costs went way, way, way up. People trying to move their goods, but most of those costs have come down to near pre-pandemic times. I watch a channel called What's Going On in Shipping, a real good YouTube channel about logistics, and he gets into a lot of charts showing the price fluctuations. There's a couple other things taking place. I think number one, you've got millions and millions and millions of tourists who still are not coming to the Philippines. We've gone through our high season, and the Philippines still has a few restrictions going on here with requiring tests and/or be fully vaccinated type thing. So we've got about half the tourists, the last data I saw, about half the tourists we had in 2019. So that's millions of people who probably are not shopping, and those restaurants that cater to them are not buying the same amount of goods. So there's a huge lag in demand, I guess you'd put it. And therefore, these grocery stores, I suspect, are trying to make up for that demand by trying to raise their prices on some items. So basically, the economy is still struggling. It's got another year or two of recovery, I think. And we'll see how it goes as we get into October and November, if the tourists flock back here. Anyway, thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time.